Greetings and salutations, people of the internet. This is Master RBG. And not too long ago, I attended a sci-fi and fantasy convention called MarsCon. And as with most of my convention trips, it inspired me. It made me want to track down my dice, get some friends together, and play some Pathfinder or D&D. Unfortunately, most of my friends who play don't even live in the same state with me anymore, which is more than a bit troublesome when trying to set up a game. Under other circumstances, this would be a problem, but not today. Today's game is a wonderful way to enjoy some D20 action while solo. Today we'll be looking at Knights of Pen and Paper 2. Now, roll for initiative. Oh hey, look, a natural 20. Okay. So, not too terribly dissimilar from real-world D&D. Even though your game is technically taking place in a fantasy world, the actual playing of it takes place in the real world. So there is a table, chairs, the DM's right there. You can actually see the room you're playing in. The cool part is, unlike in real D&D, the various items used to decorate the room have an effect on the actual gameplay. So just because you added a mini fridge, it might mean that, healing by eating food is increased in its efficiency or something like that. And literally there are all kinds of crazy behind options. See, we got arcade cabinets, there's even a pinball machine if you want to go that route, and each of them has a different effect. You could custom tailor your entire game just based on what decorations did you use. The really crazy part is even if you do a different save game later on, it'll all carry over. Whatever changes you made to the room, they stay. Until you change them again at least. Which is actually a really unique feature here. Also, the gold I think technically carries over from one game to the next, because I had done a test game here earlier, and I actually had some gold left over. So, apparently that carries. Who knew? But yeah, just all these crazy behind effects, just for changing the decorations in the room. I think the first version of Pen and Paper, I actually unlocked a TARDIS as a decoration in the room. Can't remember for the life of me what it did, but it was really cool looking, and I played for a decent amount of time just to unlock it. Keeping my fingers crossed it'll be available here. See, there was my earlier game save. But we're gonna go and start a new one. Okie dokie. So, we're getting started off here. And as it so happens, the main character for at least this early portion here is ridiculously overpowered. And you'll see exactly what I mean shortly. But the startup at least sounds a little bit like a legitimate game of D&D. Although, oh, okay, there we go. Yep, there's a Tarrasque. Tarrasque? Am I pronouncing that right? I'm not totally sure. My fellow D&D players, please, by all means, let me know. Is it Tarrasque? Is that how you pronounce it? Because I'm not totally clear on that one. Love the graphics on this. That's pretty accurate to how this should probably look. Not gonna lie. He has altered the deal. Pray he does not alter it further. Oh, good lord. Okay, so our main player here has a stupidly broken skill set here. And as much as I hate to feel sorry for a monster, I kinda do. 'Cause this is not a fair fight. At all. Like, not even slightly. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment here. The dude is just stacked ridiculously as far as... Oh, you see? See, that was just reactionary. He wasn't even going on the offensive yet. just so you know, in case you've never actually played D&D, the Tarrasque is a really, really tough monster. He was not kidding about being endgame content. That is exactly what he's supposed to be. Endgame content. And yet he's being brought out as the very first thing this guy faces off against. See? He left. He's getting his lawyer. He's lawyering up, and I honestly cannot blame him. That dude messed him up bad. And it should not be that way. It takes a whole squad to try and take down one of those things. It should not be possible to take one down that easily with just one guy. Okay, and this argument they're having right now, that's also kind of legit. There are players out there that will not play certain editions of D&D. For example, 4th edition I don't think was all that terribly popular. People literally held off and played like 3.5 rules instead of going to full 4th edition. 5th edition seems to be doing reasonably well though. Anywho, we're making our new characters. And just so you know, it's not set up exactly like how it normally would be in D&D. Because normally you pick your class and your race. Well here, you're picking kind of your class, but your character's race isn't a matter of any importance here. Your character's real life style, occupation, whatever, basically determines the other half of how their character works. So, being a cheerleader gives after effects, being a surfer dude has after effects, which is kind of weird. Unique, but weird. Also, we are literally in a stereotypical starting town that's apparently known for bringing adventurers here. Wait, are they aware this is sort of an isekai situation? Oh crud, I didn't even think about that part. Fortunately, I don't think it's a real isekai because Truck-kun didn't show up. Yet. Bum bum bum. I'm just messing with you. He's not going to show, I swear. He's really not. But it's kind of cool. We get introduced to the world we're playing in, Paperos. Still not totally sure if that's supposed to be a pun on Westeros or what. I'm not sure. Somebody else can go ahead and be the judge of that one. But it looks like we're going to be fighting these weirdos as our tutorial. For your sake, I will go through the tutorial. Even though, honestly, I don't particularly need it myself. It's all good, though. It's all good. Kind of annoyed they got the first shot in. That annoys me. But it's okay, they're level 1 characters. What do you expect out of them? Okay, so we got a ranger, we got a wizard, we got all kinds of range. Honestly, we could probably use someone a bit bulkier, but you know what? We'll just run with it. Punch him in the face. Just bam, right in the kisser. Oh, that didn't do anywhere near as much damage as I was hoping it would. That's most unfortunate. Oh dear. Fortunately, we're gonna get saved during this tutorial fight. You'll see exactly what I mean in, give it another 60 seconds or so, we should be there. Yes, please. There we are. Okay, so obviously you heal up by eating stuff. Clearly. Yep, gonna punch him in the schnoz. Okay, now they're all having some sort of issue. And apparently the reason there's an issue... Oh, okay, believe it or not, the game actually did that intentionally. That wasn't an accident. Okay, so there was a clash of editions. Apparently, we're using 1st edition, they're using 2nd edition, I guess? Kinda weird, but that's how they're playing it here, so we're just gonna run with it. Okay, so I know we discussed briefly about what you could spend your money on in terms of furniture for the room. This is what you're probably going to be focused more on spending your money on early in the game. Equipping yourself with items. especially protective gear if you happen to be a squishy character class like a wizard, which I might end up doing here as well. You know, gotta keep them alive long enough to level up. Speaking, of course, of leveling up, there's the matter of leveling up. Of course, there's the matter of actually leveling up, which is pretty straightforward, actually quite linear compared to what it's really like in D&D. As opposed to going through countless reference books and what have you, here it's simplified to being one of about, what is it here, 4 different abilities. Some of them offensive, some of them defensive, some of them healing, some of them passive. Basically just kind of figure this one out on your own, because some of them are better than others. There's one in particular I rather like for the wizard, which I'm going to use here. Oh yes, there we go. And of course, you can take the same class feature more than once. If you do, it'll increase it. So for the sake of argument, if there's a spell that did 5 damage, and you pick that at first, well, obviously it'll do 5 damage. But if you take it a second time, well, now it might do 6 or 7 damage instead, which is nice. Now, of course, beyond just leveling up, of course, there are quests, and there are quite a few different ones, to be perfectly honest. However, I'm going to show you one of my more enjoyed quests. Give me just a moment. So, after spinning a particularly ridiculous yarn about dark dwarves and some sort of crazy behind Ponzi scheme, we get sent to this, well, I can only call it a vault. It certainly looks like the same sort of design as a vault if it took place in D&D times. And it's just as ridiculous as it sounds. We're fighting zombie bankers right now because that's a thing that exists in this game right now. And it's just one of many truly ludicrous things that happens in this game. It truly is. We were fighting ghostly maids earlier. Apparently they're what keeps this place clean, apparently. I don't know, it's all really, really weird and really, really silly. And this leads to a somewhat entertaining boss encounter that was actually alluded to much earlier in the game. But to avoid spoilers, I'm not going to let you see what it is. I'm going to cut off, well, pretty darn soon. But again, there's actually half-decent story here, and it's really funny and really entertaining. They joked about running across some newbies that had been teleported in shortly after us, and we had to go save them earlier, because apparently something was wrong with the leveling system. And that was actually really, really funny and really well done, and I loved it. But I think we should probably draw this to a close before it draws out too long. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Knights of Pen and Paper 2. The funniest pseudo D20 game I've honestly ever played. I might even like this one better than the original. I haven't yet played the semi-sequel Galaxy of Pen and Paper yet, but you know what, after playing this again, I might give it a shot later this year. I love the way this series blurs the line between the real world in which these characters exist and the fantasy world they're playing in. Especially that room accessory stuff. That's really well done and really interestingly thought out. Something as simple as a table or a couch can change the way in which the game plays out, for better or for worse. Again, that first game had the TARDIS from Doctor Who as an option, and honestly I haven't found it in this game yet, but I'm going to continue looking for it. Now, obviously if you're a fan of comedy, fantasy games, and D20 style games like D&D, then I cannot recommend this game enough for you. If you dislike D20 RPGs, you still might like this game, since it eschews common complicating factors like all that pre-game work needed for a character's creation, or the various dice rolls and book referencing needed to level up during a game. It simplifies the whole setup quite nicely, if I say so myself. Of course, if you don't care for comedy or only like serious fantasy games, you'll likely not enjoy this game at all, and should probably look elsewhere to scratch that particular gaming itch. This game is currently available on Android, Microsoft Windows, iOS, Linux, Mac, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Pretty much anything you have that can play a video game, the odds are this can be played on it. It's usually available for about $8 or $15 for the deluxeiest version. No, I didn't say that wrong, that's really what that version is called, which includes a few expansions, a digital art book, a soundtrack, among a few other goodies. The version available on consoles is a slightly altered deluxeiest edition, minus the art book and soundtrack, and runs for about $13, and I'd say it's well worth the price of entry, especially for the Switch version, given that that's the probably best option for a portable version of this game. I think they have some weird, microtransactions or something in the phone version of this, like the Android iOS version. So, wouldn't recommend those nearly as much as the Switch version. But, unfortunately, that's all the time we got for this one, guys. If you enjoyed it, give me that thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of my nonsense in the future, hit that subscribe button or hit that notification bell, or better yet, both. And if you'd like some suggestions for other videos made by yours truly, then how about these? Over here, you can check out my review for a side-scrolling beat-em-up called Fight and Rage. Although you don't have to fight and rage to watch it, you can just lay back and chill as you watch it. Or, of course, you can check out my mini-review for a game called Snowball over here. Check out either one, they're both fantastic, just like you guys have been. Until next time, this is Master RBG, signing off.